Busy bounce the clip.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling fantastic. It's been a fantastic few days. I've been encountering truly inspired human beings. It's been truly a thrilling, enthralling experience these past few days since the last time I was with you. I hope you're well, taking care of yourselves, taking care of those who you most care for, and even those who just may appear to be strangers, but we need to take care of them as well. Oh, yeah, it's the motivator here. I trust you are well. Good, 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 good. I say again, it's been a truly inspiring few days. I've encountered some wonderful human beings, truly inspired human beings. And it gives the purpose to why we do these shows, these videos, the podcast for you. Our objective, of course, is to inspire people to take responsibility, to provide good quality information so they can make good decisions to improve themselves, their families, their loved ones, and their wider networks. And in doing so, together, we transform the world so it becomes a better place for all. Hope you agree that's a worthwhile aim and objective. I hope you would agree. I hope you also agree in that journey towards a better place for all humanity. Okay. That we have to, first of all, think about our immediate communities and help those communities to evolve so you can all stand up as equals amongst the peoples of the world. After all, we are but one family, one human race. Many ethnicities, that's true, but we are but one human race. And together we will transform the world. Our last podcast, and I know many of you watched that last podcast, and the question we asked is, do black women hate their hair? It was quite clear from the narrative, from the discussion that we had at that podcast, that clearly was a incorrect statement. Of course, there's a love for our hair, but it we require to take care of it. Mhm. That's the knowledge. That's the essential knowledge that came out of our last podcast. The knowledge to take care of one's own hair. And of course, to be in control of the products that go into our hair is essential. Common sense, really, but essential. I want to thank you all of you, that both provided feedback to that show, okay, both in terms of the initial feedback to the idea of the question that's put forward, and in response to the evidence and dialogue that we had during that show. I want to thank Kelly, truly inspired of Black Hair Mastery. Okay. She provided a really powerful, compelling testimony on the state of the hair industry as it affects women of African heritage. And indeed, ma'am, but most certainly women of African heritage. And it's clearly obvious that there is work to do, both here in Britain and Europe, the Caribbean, and most certainly in United States of America. There's work to be done. But it's work that we're up to. It is work that is essential. It is work that we will succeed, no matter all the barriers that may befall us. So I'm really proud that last podcast has started a movement, a call to action, as it were, that change is a must. I say again, change is a must. Because together, in unity, change will happen. But that's where we gain our strength, in unity. You don't need to be a person of African heritage, a woman or man of African heritage, to join with the campaign. Don't worry. We're but one human race. We might be a little queasy of you if you are a director of one of these big corporations which are supplying products which have known cancer-causing chemicals, endocrine disrupting chemicals that may indeed be interfering with one's reproduction systems. We might be a little queasy if you were to enter the fray, that's true, unless, of course, you enter the fray with intention to right the wrongs of the past. We will see, shall we? And to this end, one of the call to actions from our last podcast is that we should hold a public meeting to bring together the interested stakeholders into one meeting. We should discuss these issues with 3 strategic objectives set out. Statutory regulation, yeah, statutory regulation of the sector. So ingredients in products are clear, they've been tested. The health agencies here approve. Secondly, that those who apply these products are suitably trained, regulated, a degree of professionalism about them. Absolutely essential. It is astonishing that the overwhelming number of women of African heritage go into these salons, use products, but they're not tested on their hair before applying to their heads. Can you imagine? That's a roulette game of the highest order. No wonder so many women of African heritage have these rapidly receding hairline, which means that they put on other products in order to hide the fact that they have receding hairlines. We could do something about that. And lastly, third call to action for this meeting is, of course, knowledge, intimate knowledge of how to maintain African hair. So the need to put on all these artificial products into your hair can be reduced if you maintain your hair appropriately using primarily organic products. And together we will all transform this environment. So that's the purpose of that call to action. A meeting has been called on October the 18th. And in fact, let me put the details up on the screen for you all. It makes life a lot easier. And I'll get the right one for you all. There we go. There you go. There you go. So call to action following on our last podcast is the Inspired African Hair campaign, scheduled to be on the Saturday, the 18th of October, 2025, from 2 to 4 p.m. The address will be number 1, Bodley Way, Bodley Way, Ley, 1 Bodley Way, Elephant Castle, London, S for sugar, E 17, 1 F Freddy, N for Nigeria. Okay. Recognition, professionalization, and our air care are the 3 objectives. If you wish to come along, please send an email through to themotivatorshow501 at gmail.com. I repeat, themotivatorshow501 at gmail.com. Okay, that's it. Call to action. And it's going to be a truly inspired experience. Truly inspired. And some of you who want to reach out to Kelly, that wonderful guest we had at our last session, here's her details. There you go. She can be found on Instagram and TikTok. There you go. Under Black Hair Mastery. Let's say again, Instagram or TikTok under Black Hair Mastery. You can send messages to her via those social media platforms. I positively encourage you to do so. I positively encourage you to do so. We must bring to a stop the poisoning of our women through their air. It is essential we take action. It is essential that we take action. In unity strength. Together, we can transform the environment in which our women are compelled to occupy. So it's clear. The meeting on the 18th of October, it is intended to be a watershed moment in which women of African heritage with African hair, and then they don't all look like me with my pigmentation. I've noticed that there are people with African hair who look as if they are from China, who look as if they're from Germany, who look as if they're from India. But actually, they're people of African heritage. Some of them don't realize it. It is true, huh? But it's a most serious matter, a matter that we must come together in unity. And through that unity, our strengths will see us through. I'll put the details up on the screen one more time, just for those of you a little slow and want to write down the address, although the address will be in the comment section of this show. But it's essential that each of you take this very, very seriously. And in doing so, we will transform the world. But if in doubt, I say to people, say again, if in doubt, I say to people, ask questions. Because asking questions, you'll be informed. There you go. It's on the screen one more time. In fact, let's put this one up. There you go. There you go. So it's the Inspired African Hair campaign, scheduled on the 18th of October, 2025, from 2 to 4 p.m. The address will be number 1 Bodley Way, Elephant Castle, London, S for sugar, E 17, 1 F for Freddy, N for Nigeria. And the key objectives are recognition, that we exist, and therefore the regulatory regime must be put in place. Professionalization of the sector, the hair care sector, and those who are hairdressers, indeed barbers. And lastly, hair care. Passing on that knowledge, that there is clearly within the community of how to maintain your hair using purely organic ingredients. And together we will transform the world. There you go. Very good. Very good. I hope that those messages see you well. They see you well. And thank you for all of you who have responded to this call to action. Well done. Well done. Well done. I also want to give note, if I may, to another one of our campaigns here on the Motivator Show. Remember, we are social movers and shakers here on the Motivator Show. There are more than 250 million Africans in the diaspora. An overwhelming majority have been in the diaspora for more than 100 years. Some for 2, 3, 400 years. But to look at them, they're clearly persons of African heritage. There's a call that we should create a unifying body so that we are represented at the AU, at the Organization of African Unity. Through its various agencies, we are entitled by the regulations set up by the AU to seats around the table, in the decision-making table. Those seats, lamentably, are not being taken up. We must change that situation. And you recall we had a wonderful, inspired African by the name Valenta, who discussed, and I'll put it on the screen. In fact, let me put it on the screen now, because this is such an important one. There we go. We put it up on there. The Pan-African Treaty of the Sixth Region, the African Diaspora. An important treaty. So if you're a person of African heritage, if you're a person, you belong to an African heritage organization, professional body, okay, you can join with this treaty. To obtain a copy of the treaty, there you go. You send a message through to the Pan-African Treaty, the African Diaspora, without the A at the end, that's right. Pan-African Treaty, African Diaspora at gmail.com. There you go. I positively encourage you to obtain a copy of that treaty and sign up. It doesn't cost you a penny, but what it will do is give you a voice. Say again, African diaspora, there are family members who've been away from the continent for 100, 200, 300, 400 years. But it's in our blood. It is time to come back. Oh yeah, I positively encourage you. I'll put reference to this in the comment section, and I'll also give reference to the interview with Belenka, a truly inspired African man who put forward the case for this treaty in beautiful, cogent language. Wonderful. I look forward to getting back here in the studio and to follow up on his other adventures. I know he not too long ago visited that great country of Burkina Faso. Yeah, I say respect to the people, to the Burkinabés, to the people of Burkina Faso. I say respect to the president, His Excellency Ibrahim Traore. I note, of course, yes, King Kabbalah of the African Continental Unity Party. I'm not exalting him. I'm recognizing him. Yeah? Because we are all Ibrahim Traores. But men and women who are watching and listening to this podcast, we're all Ibrahim Traores. There's a collective responsibility to ensure that what is happening in Burkina Faso, in the Sahel countries, it spreads across the entire continent. And I'm confident that will happen. Pan-Africanism will continue to spread and bind peoples together. And no longer will the nations of the continent be separated by national identities created by external forces. No longer will be separated by culture, yeah, or languages. That Pan-Africanism means that we respect our ethnicities, but identify the commonalities and use that as a basis for strength, because in unity is strength. And together we will transform the world. Sign up to the treaty. It is a worthwhile venture. Costs you nothing, but gains you a great deal. There you are. I'll leave you with that one. I'll leave you with that one. I now want to move on, and I will return to further announcement later on in the podcast. In approximately 20 minutes' time, we will have a very special royal guest, a person of a remarkable human being. When you meet her, you would agree with me, a truly remarkable human being, befitting of the Motivator Show. Oh yeah, oh yeah. People of Ghana spawn such wonderful people, I have to tell you. Such wonderful people. But anyway, let me move on now. Let me move on. It's now time for this other section of the this particular podcast, and that's of course our lifestyle messages. I say this to you, and it's been a regular feature of our podcast, lifestyle messages, in response to what is a clear and present danger, a lack of awareness how to take care of our general health and well-being, and making regular mistakes that cause the foreshortening of our lives or the weighing down ourselves with illnesses as a result of our actions. Some are culturally based, some are simply lack of awareness. These few minutes, maybe 5-6 minutes or so, are devoted to lifestyle messages. There's ample evidence persons of African heritage in Britain, Europe, the Caribbean most certainly, and the Americas are being weighed down by illnesses such as diabetes, high blood pressure or hypertension, obesity or fatness. Yeah, three primary public health concerns. Not to mention, of course, the cancers that seem to pervade our communities, respiratory conditions that seem to pervade the communities, and of course, depression and mental health that pervades our communities. I'm shocked by how few podcasters of African heritage refer to what is a clear and present danger and spend only just a few minutes in each of their podcasts to share with you lifestyle messages. On these shows, in the Motivator Show, we care. We will share with you a few lifestyle messages. Stay with us and absorb this information. We want you to share this information with your loved ones, your families, your networks, and wider communities. And together, we will transform the world. It has a cumulative impact. Okay? Some of it you may find a little challenging, because once you get into your adult and you become habitual eaters of particular types of food, which are harming you, but it's part of your tradition, it's difficult and it's challenging. I say to those leaders, traditional leaders, you need to take care of your own peoples, those who hold you in high esteem. That's all I say to you. I say to those social leaders, politicians and others, you should ensure that your policies, your legislation, your laws are fully enforced, so we can protect the people from these maladies. But here on the Motivator Show, we'll spend just a few minutes to address the lifestyle messages. Within the communities, of course, there are people who are clinically qualified, who have devoted their life to caring and healing, understanding illnesses and diseases, so that we all could live a better, longer, healthier life. Okay? So with that in mind, I want to play a very short video of a professor here in London, okay, whose words, whose simple advice are straightforward advice, okay? Advice that we all, I assert, should pay attention to, okay? And if in doubt, I say to you all, ask questions, if in doubt. But these are, well, 5 very simple messages from this professor. Listen to what he has to say. Here we go. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect. Rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. Very simple messages. Yep, very simple messages. And if you were able to follow his advice with those simple messages, it will be transformative. But I understand the challenges for many of you, that once you form habit, it's difficult to change. But I assert to you, if you were to play that very short 1-minute video every day for 1 year, 1 minute per day for 1 year, it would prove transformative. And in doing so, in transforming your life, you have a knock-on effect to those who respect you, those who love you, those who see you, and see you as someone to emulate. And that is the knock-on effect. His messages are straightforward messages. It is quite astonishing. It's very simple messages. Get out, get out. Think about what you're doing. Think about how you treat yourself each day. But what I'm honored by, what I'm truly inspired by, is the numbers of you who've heard these messages and have responded positively, understanding, working together, the best way to exercise. Of course, you can exercise and rapidly improve your health by yourself. That's great. If you want to go far, if you want to ensure that this exercise is not only today and tomorrow or next year, but goes on for the next decades, we do it together. We hold hands when we're up and we're down. We hold down. We do it together. We do it in a meaningful way, because doing together, we share each other's energy, each other's enthusiasm. So when someone is a little lower, the other person's enthusiasm is infectious and it raises us up. That's how communities operate. That's how the world operates. We support each other. And in doing so, we transform the world. So what I'm heartened by is the number of you who've heard these messages and have responded in a truly positive way, okay? Truly positive way. I'm going to show a short video of people who've heard these messages and have come together in common aim and common purpose, have understood the importance of collective working, working together, leave no one behind because we're all equally as invaluable. Watch these people exercise together because they pooled their resources to come together in common aim, a common purpose. There you go. Oh yes, they've come together in common aim and common purpose, understanding, working together, exercising together, are likely to have long-lasting benefits to you, your family, and those who you interact with. It's infectious. That's the way forward. Notice they're big and they're small, they're wide and they're thin. Oh yes, that's the way forward. Come on now, I hope you're not sitting down. Come on, you've got to get up. We've only filmed a few moments, just for a minute or two. Come on, that's it. Oh, I see you, that's it. Now stretch those legs up and down. There you go. There you go. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. That's right, you're doing it right now. Yes, come on with us. Just for a few moments, only for a few moments. There you are. There she's saluting us. Oh yeah. Oh, that's Cardi. Oh, yes, that's it. That's the way to do it. Oh, yeah. That's right. He's getting tired. Oh, yeah. They're big and they're small. You see them now, huh? Ah, that's right. That's it. Well, there's plenty of water there, just to make sure. Always remain hydrated. You see, the children are there. Yeah, inculcated in their mind. Good habit. Exercise every day. They develop that habit as children. They take it into their adulthood. Thinking about the food they eat. Thinking about how they get out in the world. Thinking and considering their mental and spiritual health. That's right. You've got it. That's right. Yes. What are they put here? Yes. Look at that. There you go. That's it. I hope you're doing this, people. Hope you're doing this. You're not sitting down. Yes. That's right. That's it. That's it. Get up now. You can do it. I'm not laughing at you. Don't worry. No one's laughing at you. Just get up. It's for you. That's right. That's it. You're on the right track. Another 30 seconds out. There you go. Another 30 seconds. There we go. Oh, that's right. Bend down. That's it. Bend down. Nice and slowly does it. That's right. You did it well. You did. That's right. Lift those knees up now. Lift up your knees. That's right. That's it. You did it right. That's it. That's right. Oh my God. I felt my knee click there. That's right. That's it. I feel you. Yes. This is fun, isn't it? This is fun. Yep. Exercise is always meant to be fun. That's right. See the children, they're doing it as well. Young, they're mature. We're all doing it together. Doesn't matter. Male or female, young or older. Yeah. We're all together in this race they call life. That's right. For only a few minutes. You did it right. Yeah, that's it. Last few seconds. There you go now. That's it. There you are. I'm sweating now. There you are. That was useful, huh? Yeah. We've got to be socially conscious. Yep. Socially conscious. Sitting down for too long a period. It's just stretch those muscles a little bit, lift up your knees, stretch your arm, just for a few minutes. That's the way forward. Do it every day. It can only have beneficial impacts upon you, okay? But if in doubt, speak to your GP, speak to your doctor, whoever is an expert in these matters, and they will tailor make an exercise regime just for you. In 10 minutes, we will have our special guest in the studio, okay? Our special guest, I'm assuring you, she will be truly inspirational. Oh, yeah. We're going to get we've got a few heavy subjects to tackle very quickly, but it will truly be inspirational. But until then, I did want to give a few more further announcements and with your patience with us, okay? There are, of course, here in Britain, an issue, and we call it the Windrush scandal. Persons, particularly from Africa and the Caribbean, who are in Britain legitimately, but their statehood was taken away by Parliament. That's according to an independent report commissioned by what is termed here the Home Office. In the US, it's called the State Department, yeah? Or the Foreign Office, if you like, in other places, yeah? Clearly, the legislation took away people's statehood. It was wrong. And the independent report attests to that fact. Okay. So the campaign is on to put in place a Windrush Act. As you know, we've had here a number of important guests to discuss this subject, and I'm really pleased that they've been able to do so. First of all, I want to refer to the Windrush Legal Advice Clinics. If you are affected by the Windrush scandal, we advise you make contact with these legal advisors. And they are, of course, the Windrush Legal Advice Clinic at 58 Bank Street in the West Midlands, postcode WV148PD. Email address, it's windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. info@windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. Telephone number, daytime 01902 382 542. I commend the Windrush Legal Advice Clinic to you all. And secondly, those of you who recall Anthony Brown, the stalwart who's leading the charge to encourage the ministers to put in place a Windrush Act to protect in law the interest, the reputations of those affected by the unlawful Windrush scandal. Okay, so of course, those of you who remember Anthony Brown, there you are. He, of course, is leading the charge. You can contact him via www.wdlegal.co.uk. Right, you can go via that website. You can leave a message for him via the chat facility he has available. Okay, to join the Windrush Act campaign. Okay, we'll get Anthony in the not too distant future to provide an update on progress made to date. We now have a new Home Secretary. We don't know what impact that will have on this current campaign, but clearly the Windrush Act is necessary. The independent report attests that the Acts of Parliament disenfranchise, illegally took away hundreds of thousands of people's nationality, British nationality. And if you're affected by it, please reach out to the Windrush Legal Advice Clinic that I mentioned earlier. And if you're not sure, rewind recording of this video to obtain the details. The content, of course, will be contained in the comment section of this video. A truly important, very important campaign. Yet another one that the Motivated Show is closely associated with. And you understand why the Motivated Show is so important. We're not just here to entertain. We love to entertain you. I'm told I could be entertaining. Anyway, but we are very much a show devoted to healing, social care. I mean that in a holistic care for us all. And bridging artificial barriers between ethnicities, between peoples, so that we can come together because in unity is strength. Regardless of your religious or ethnic background, in unity is strength. Regardless of your education or gender, in unity is strength. Whether it be young or you be more mature, in unity is strength. And together we can, forgive me, we will transform the world. Good for you, good for you. And now my last announcement, a very important one. Burkina Faso has been a regular feature of these podcasts, most certainly in the past 12 months. The rise of His Excellency President Ibrahim Traoré, he has set the scene and set the standards for others to follow. Its amalgamation with the Sahel states that includes, of course, Mali and Niger, to create a central African super state. Let's hope that others will enjoy. You never know. Ghana may join. It'd be wonderful if Nigeria could join. That would be Pan-Africanism in action. Okay. But nevertheless, what he's displaying and what he's demonstrating is how good governance in Africa should be managed. Okay, he's practically applying good governance. It is the intention of the Motivator Show to visit Burkina Faso. We want to give a big thumbs up, of course, to Chief Abundance, who was here not too long ago, highlighting. That was a show directly from Burkina Faso, highlighting his work in Burkina Faso. And we'll get him back in the studio very soon. Don't you worry. Okay. But we will visit Burkina Faso. I'm going to put the details up on the screen. And those of you who wish to join us, of course, please send your expression of interest very soon. Because very soon we'll be compiling the figures as to who will be taking with us to Burkina Faso. If in doubt, ask questions. So here we go. Let's start putting up the details for you all. And here we go. We will visit Burkina Faso on the 26th of January to the 9th of February. Okay. We will meet many peoples across the country. You never know. You never know. We might even meet the man himself, but that's not confirmed. Okay. But we most certainly will be hosted. I want to thank the Burkina Faso, the Burkinabes here in Britain, and Wamhangi, and the others who've been regular visitors to the Motivator Show, the leaders and chairman of the Burkinabe community here in Britain. I want to thank you for your support. But those of you who wish to join us to visit Burkina Faso, this is the email address. It's very straightforward. The future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. I repeat, the future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. All we need from you is just your name, of course, an address and a telephone number, and further details will follow on. Okay. But those of you who wish to visit with us, and we'll take a few hundred, a plane full of people, yeah, we'll visit Burkina Faso so we can absorb it for ourselves and not see that country through the filter of these Western news media who clearly want to disparage our reputations. That's what I've got to say. Clearly want to disparage our reputation. See? Ye who knows it, feels it. Chief Abundance was there in Burkina Faso. He could attest, provide first-hand account of the true situation in that great country and the Sahel states. I'll take his word for it, not through these other media platforms. Okay. Join us. Join us. I know this is the motivator. I don't do things that aren't safe. I don't engage in activities which are inappropriate. This is what we must do. Give support to the people of Burkina Faso, those of the Sahel state, Niger and Mali. Truly, great examples of how African governance should be carried forward. Praise be. I commend this initiative to you all and encourage you all to join us. Encourage you all to join us. Again, details of this will be contained in the comment section of this video. Okay, there, I take this off the screen. So now, we now prepare for our special guest. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure I can help my guest to get into the studio. So just for a few moments or two, I'm going to play the intro video. So just bear with me. I'm just going to make sure, get our guest into the studio, that we get this interview underway. It will be truly an inspired experience, a truly enthralling experience, one you will not forget, because it's quite exceptional human being. So give us a few moments. I'll get my guest into the studio and be right back with you. Here we go. So just watch on.
clip.
There you are, everyone. This is live, of course. When it's live, it's always interesting. There we go. Let's try this. I'm going to try and bring in my special guest, our special guest, into the live stream. Let's see if we can get her in without any problem. Here we go. Oh, she's there in her magnificence. Good morning.
Good morning,
Oh,
Councillor Martin. I hope you can hear me.
we can now hear you. That's perfect. That is
Wonderful.
absolutely perfect. Wonderful, wonderful. What I've got to do is just put my other headset, so it's all well. I have to tell you, each time we meet you, you're even more regal. If you don't mind me
Thank
saying
you.
that in public.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us again. Thank you for joining us again. These are indeed interesting times. Okay.
They are.
They are indeed. And these are times where they're both testing, but are character forming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We live in testing times, and the only thing that testing us do is to make us resilient.
Absolutely
And that
right.
depends on the individual.
Yes. Well said. My gosh. You sound just like, again, I'm saying this in public, I know, it's just like my mother, truly inspired human being. Thank you. Thank you. I know you, of course, very well. I have not yet introduced you, if I may, okay? But I've indicated to the audience, and the audience has grown since the last time you were here, that you are a member of the African aristocracy, royalty. And this is not this false royalty. This is actual royalty that goes
Absolutely.
back, that has a lineage of hundreds of years. Okay. So I'm going to invite you, please, to really, um, one, to say your name, the royal lineage to which you belong. I'm also going to ask you, please, to, just for the benefit of us diasporans who are still catching up, to explain the meaning of your name, if you don't
Okay.
mind. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you. So, I am a queen from the Ga traditional area. The
Hmm.
Ga traditional area as a whole is made up of entities, royal enclaves, and I come from the Ngleshi. Ngleshi. Most people know it as Jamestown, but
Uh-huh.
Ngleshi is its actual name. Jamestown
Okay.
was given to it, of course. We know the history during
Hmm.
trade with the British, who came to build the lighthouse that I can see
Hmm.
behind you in your
Indeed.
photograph. So I come from
Indeed.
Jamestown, from the royal lineage of Ngleshi. We the Ngleshi is a bit of an amalgamation of different people coming together. However, it's a group of Ga people.
Hmm.
I was named Na Chucho Soyoo the first on my first installment, as we call it, or installation, all the way in 2010.
Hmm.
And the name really, as you well know, and I think I've explained on the show before, when you get installed as a queen or as a king in our tradition, you
Hmm.
assume a new identity, and that includes your
Yes.
name. So the name you're
Yes.
given at birth is no longer used by people who come to know you. So the name I was given on installation was Nachicho Soyu the first. There
Hmm.
has been evolution since then, but we won't go into it right now.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm from Leshi royal lineage, and I am Manye, which means queen na Chuchu Soyo the first.
Wonderful. It sounds poetic. In my ears, it sounds almost poetic, you know. And I recall the very first occasion which you were visited here on the Motivated Show. There were many that were moved to tears as you described your name and your lineage, you know. There were many that were moved to tears. It was the most powerful experience. And, what I will do for the benefit of the audience, that original uh, interview with yourself, I'll put a link to it for those of you who want to listen to it. It was truly inspired, and the manner in which you deliver the information is truly educational. We hear you. We hear you. We hear you. And
Thank
it's
you.
interesting as you described yourself, a member of the Ga people. Okay, and we are familiar, of course, with Ghana and the Asante and the Ga and
Gadangwe.
others, of course. Yes, but it's interesting because speaking to different members of the wider West African communities, okay, there are many peoples, okay, it's interesting to trace some of their ancestral lineage, okay.
Yes.
So I understand that the Ga people can trace their lineage to Egypt, indeed to the Holy Land, which, when you look at the map of Africa, is some distance away, as it were, to the east. That's a very long trek, okay, and I'm told at least 3 to 4 thousand miles or more. But you trace your lineage there. Just tell us about that, just so we can fully appreciate the greatness of the Ga people, please.
So I always say that the idea that we were Israelites, I think, is based on a slight misunderstanding of the
Okay.
history. We were always Africans, and
Hmm. Hmm.
if we're going to look at scripture, we're Africans by geography, but also
Yes.
by DNA. If you're
Yes.
going to go back to the scriptural story of the Exodus,
Hmm.
then you're told that a group of people from Israel, we know that story very well, as kids,
Yes.
came to reside in Egypt during a period of extreme famine.
Yes.
It is my belief that we resided in Egypt The people of Israel came to join us in Egypt. And of course, if you live among a people for generations, you are bound to pick up some of the you form alliances, people
Yes.
fall in love, people marry, people
Yes.
form friendships, people form business partnerships, and so on and so forth. You're bound to pick up some of the practices of each other. Now, it is very popular for an African to assume that any practice that they engage in is borrowed from another culture. And for me, that's very curious because we keep saying, well, some of our practices are very similar to Jewish culture. And that may be true. But who is to say that the opposite is not the case? And that
Absolutely.
when Israel came to reside in Africa, some of these
Absolutely.
practices existed and
Yes.
they decided to adopt and practice it to this day. Because
Yes.
our history has been largely oral, is run away with the thinking that we borrowed some of our practices from Israel in terms of some of our names, in terms of some of the way that our priestess, our priests and our priestesses behave. I beg to differ. We
Okay.
were in Africa. We had a group of people come to reside in Africa during the Exodus because we formed these alliances. We formed these relationships. People have fallen in love, married over generations, families have been created. Naturally, a group of us followed during the Exodus. And in my
Yes.
culture, when we celebrate Omowo, which we've just done in Accra, and
Yes.
we are preparing, some of my community are actually celebrating in different regions today as we speak. When we celebrate Homowo as a festival is a harvest festival which remembers what we went through during that exodus.
Right.
And we're told that there was famine. We struggled to find food. We were hungry. We prayed and we found meal. Meal in scripture they say manna, but we found meal.
None.
We decided to use natural ingredients, which was available at the time, palm oil, to prepare this what we call quickly. Now, again, in Jewish culture, they prepare unleavened bread. The maize we
Yes.
prepare must not be fermented, which is what unleavened, where unleavened comes from. And so when you look at the correlation of culture and you ask me the origins, to my mind, Africans existed, we received guests, we engaged with them. When they were leaving, some of us decided to follow and find,
Yes.
adventure and find new land, take territories and so on and so forth. And that led us to Ayawasu, in the Gas state as we have it. So the kingdom of Ayawasu was a massive kingdom at the time, and
Yes.
and then it fragmented into entities. Now, when you're traveling in a group, some set off earlier and others followed. So a group of people arrived. Nungwa, we call them Nungwa now, but they're Nungma. They arrived, and then the rest of us followed suit to the
Yes.
present day Accra that we know, or the Gadangme state that we know. That is the story of how we came to be in the people of the Gadangme region, or the people of the Gas state.
And that's very insightful. And this, of course, you're reciting history, not over 100 years, but over more than 1,000 or so years ago. Okay. And it's again further testament to civilization out arose in Africa. Okay. And for people who are highly civilized, of course, who've experienced civilization for such a long time, it is interesting. And I note that across the continent, the position of women appears, in the traditional sense, to be well set and recognized in all of our cultures. Okay.
Yes.
But
Um,
nevertheless, though, if I, nevertheless, but, Your Majesty, you, what is wrong in that case with uh, Ghana culture and indeed global society that requires a woman of your stature, if I may say so, to devote a significant amount of your time supporting women and girls in Ghana and around the world? What's wrong with the culture, or is there nothing wrong? But tell us, please.
When you hear when you go to Ghana,
Mhm.
you would hear a queen referred to as Queen Mother. In Western
Yes,
culture, that means
yes,
something very different, which is the
yes.
mother of the king or the queen. The
Mhm.
reason why we are referred to as queen mothers is because we're not just queens, we're also the mothers of the nations. So when you hear me say manye, man means the nation or the town or the city, man. Nye
Mhm.
means mother. So
Yes,
literally, we are the mothers of the community. And what do mothers
yes.
do? We nurture.
Mhm.
We majority of the time the nurturing role is ours, and that takes the form of being able to groom the child
Mhm.
in a
Yes,
more empathetic way. The father is the
yes.
disciplinarian.
Mhm.
So when we say, listen, you wait till your dad comes home, we know the child is going to receive a level of discipline that perhaps
Mhm.
the mother will not be able to instill. So we
Mhm.
nurture, we groom, and we raise the children who are
Yes.
now as manye, the community, and mainly the girl child, because we're women.
Mhm.
And the life of the girl child on the African continent and across the world can
Mhm.
sometimes be quite complicated. Girl children over generations have been somewhat overlooked in many
Okay.
ways.
Okay.
And this is why we take on the role that we do to raise the girl child, to promote its identity or her identity, to give her a voice, and to be a role model for the girl child as to what not only a queen should be, but also a good citizen ought to be.
Just if I may just inquire further, you said that women or girls are overlooked. How did that? What form would that overlooking take? Based, if I may, start off by saying at the beginning that it appears right across the continent, the role of women is very well enshrined as part of the culture and traditions. Therefore, those two statements seem to be contradict each other. Do they, or not?
No, they don't. There is
Hmm.
in royal settings the female, and I always hold this view that women actually run the world. The men are the face of it. And the role of the traditional female ruler really is to be the backbone of the male. We live in a patriarchal society. To answer your question directly, we live in a
Hmm.
patriarchal society. And that means most of the time, and unfortunately, males are given first look into opportunities.
Hmm.
And as a result, females, because we have to hold down the home in
Hmm.
terms of education,
Okay.
in terms of opportunities, in terms of being out there visibly lending a voice,
Hmm.
it has been a struggle because naturally, being a patriarchal society, we had taken the back seat somewhat.
Hmm.
We have evolved into a world now where everyone is recognizing that the voice of the female, not only in the background, being the backbone of the family or the male structure, matters. The voice of the female, like I'm doing now, has value. And
Hmm.
sometimes when our men get a little bit too hot headed, the
Okay.
which they do often. The voice of the female brings calm and reason into the situation. So the two are
Yes.
not mutually exclusive. It's
Mhm.
just human nature that what we're used to becomes the norm, and our society was used to seeing the male at the
Mhm.
forefront. So
Mhm.
when women took the back seat, some of us translated it to mean we must be seen, not heard,
Okay.
and we must see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. So we were muted in some ways,
Mhm.
whereas at the same time we were running running communities, running households, and
Mhm.
influencing what was happening in the
Yeah.
background.
Okay. All right. Uh, and I'm going to pursue it a little further because it's pretty fundamental to what I come into later on. We want to all better understand this because forgive me, it's not been my experience, you see, it's as being a man, that one would not listen to a woman's advice. Okay, because it'd be highly imprudent not to. Okay, um,
Absolutely.
the question, of course, here it's is that what you're saying that men, some men, have forgotten to listen to the woman's advice, and they are simply operating in a sort of purely male environment and taking no note of other advice? Or are you saying that women have not been forthcoming with their advice, and you're giving them confidence to do so?
No, actually, neither.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is women have been given advice, the men have been taking it.
Aha.
Not always, but they have been.
Yes.
However, we have always done it in the background.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
And now we live in a society that recognizes that doing it in the background is not enough.
Ah,
Women
right.
have to come to the
Uh-huh.
forefront. So it's
Yes.
not that our advice have not been taken. It's not that we didn't have a voice, because in my culture,
Hmm.
when someone wants to confer on any matter, they say we are going to consult the old woman.
That's right.
The old woman can
Exactly.
be me.
Yes.
Yes. The
Yes.
old woman
Yes.
can be me. Yeah.
Yes.
The old
Yes.
woman is not necessarily an old lady somewhere, but
Mhm.
conferring with the old woman is an understanding and a recognition of the
That's right.
wisdom that women
Yes.
possess. So it's not
Yes.
to say
Yes.
that wisdom has not been tapped in. Women have always been very powerful. As I said earlier, we pretty much run the show, except we've done it in the shadows.
Okay.
However, having said that, we have very strong figures throughout history who have
Mm.
come to the forefront when necessary, when needed. And
Absolutely.
more than ever now, we are saying women are being given more of a voice because we recognize that hearing the tone of the
Hmm.
woman has
Yes.
value. Whereas the
Yes.
advice was given in camera most of the time and
Yes.
taken, hearing the voice of the female brings that calm to situations and also gives visibility to the advice and the counsel that we've always presented.
Hmm. And I suppose that's why I'm probing you, because I'm aware that it's traditional to consult with the mature or older woman, yeah, because a
Yes.
wise woman. Okay, that's
Yes.
traditional, and that's. Now, I'm born in Jamaica, and trust me, it is very much so. It's very much so there, and of course, there are many Ghanaian direct lineage in Jamaica, as you well know, and our flag reflect
Absolutely.
that fact. Okay, um, and therefore, I wanted to probably one more time on this because it's a pretty pivotal. It is quite pivotal. Um, Women and girls. Okay,
Yes.
in your work with girls
Mm.
specifically, um, what is it you want to change in relation to girls and that wider society? I say girls deliberately as opposed to women. What change do you want to see there, for example? Mhm, mhm,
Because Sir Martin, over the
mhm,
years, we have
mhm.
witnessed a slight cultural shift.
Okay.
from the way the female, especially females of color, have been
Mm-hmm.
influenced to engage with the rest of the society. We are witnessing a cultural shift where the through social media, through access to instant information, and sometimes doctored information, the
Yes.
female, especially the black female child, is
Mm-hmm.
being indoctrinated into thinking they're not enough. We
Uh-huh.
have the
Uh-huh.
history. We had
Uh-huh.
the history that made us feel as though we were second rate human beings.
Uh-huh.
More so, the
Right.
female child, as you know very well in history, during slavery, when the
Mm-hmm.
men were enduring branding, so were the women, but it went further with the
Mm-hmm.
females. They
Mm-hmm.
endured rape, uh,
Yes.
they endured so much brutality. They were forced to give
Yes.
birth, and those
Yes.
children were forcefully taken away from them. Beyond that,
Yes.
our
Yes.
hair, our,
Mm-hmm.
the nature of our hair, which
Yes.
happens to be the this what they call, I think they call it 4C hair, happens to contain elements that I'm finding out scientifically that attracts energy from the sun.
Yes. Say it. Say it loud,
Transmits
Your Majesty. Say it loud.
transmits not only solar energy but
Mhm.
spiritual energy. And if you're
Absolutely.
looking at
Yes.
science now, what
Mhm.
science is doing, the melanin in our body is, we've
Yes.
suddenly discovered, is no longer just a skin pigmentation. It is a scientific tool to
Yes.
transmit high levels of energy. So
Absolutely.
melanin is being recreated. So we
Yes.
are a people that have been so unique. Unfortunately, that has been lost on the female child. She's been
Yes.
told that we've been told as a collective that our hair was horrible. It
Mhm.
wasn't
Mhm.
classy enough. It wasn't
Mhm.
acceptable. So the female
Mhm.
child has taken that to mean that there was something wrong with her skin color. We've seen a culture of bleaching. We've
Yes,
been
that's
sold
right.
products so that the
Yes.
idea of the lighter you are,
Huh.
the
Mm.
closer you are to looking like a Caucasian, the more
Yeah.
valuable as a woman you are.
Mm.
And
Yep.
in some respects, I blame our males as well for this narrative. But the
Okay.
female child has had to deal with a lot. Our bodies are told if you're not so lean that you begin
Mhm.
to reflect the what we have typically come to recognize as a male figure, then you're
Mhm.
not pretty. If you have hips, which is natural to a woman, ask
Mhm.
anybody to draw the figure of a woman. Ask
Mhm.
anybody, and you will see that they draw a figure with hips. And yet, our girls have been told having what is now termed a thick body is
Mhm.
somehow, a bad thing.
Mhm.
Our skin, so what we're seeing is a culture shift where young girls are disengaging from who they are, and that is dangerous. Because if you tell a young girl that the thing that they have on their head that attracts natural energy, that gives them
Yes.
spiritual power and essence,
Yes.
is a
Yes.
bad thing,
Yes.
and they begin to
Mhm.
hide it and replace it with something that does not belong to them, you're
Mhm.
depriving them of that spiritual power. You've done a very
Yes.
powerful thing. If you
Yes.
tell a young girl that the skin, that DNA, that science is
Mhm.
now
Mhm.
using to generate a different kind of energy is wrong, you've indoctrinated them to self hate. And here's the
Yes.
other thing, we have known for a long time about the mitochondrial DNA, which is
Yes.
called the
Yes.
Eve gene. The idea
Yes.
that every human form in existence today came from a single black woman.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it is evidenced across the African continent and across black culture, wherever Black people are, that we have different tones, different skin tones, etc. But also blonde, blue-eyed,
That's right.
light, naturally light people. Every
Yes.
kind of DNA exists within the Black culture. The opposite
That's
is
right.
not true.
Oh,
The
come on.
opposite is not true. You can
Yeah.
you can relax our 4C hair and make it straight, but you can't relax a straight Caucasian hair and make it
I'm making
kinky.
it force it. No.
And that
Hmm.
tells you something, which is why our work with young girls is crucial, is to
Okay.
give them back that sense of self-identity, that you don't need, you're enough being yourself. As long as you're healthy,
Yes.
as long as you're clean, your hygiene is good, and
That's
as long
right.
as you are taking care of yourself, you are enough. You are intelligent, because we've been told over generations that we're a stupid race. And unfortunately, some of our girls have taken it. Some girls have been told the only way they have value is if that identity is linked to men. I don't say a man, men.
Men.
And that's very purposeful. um Girls have been told that they're not good enough somehow. And what we're finding is, in realizing that this is a lie, the pushback
Yes.
is being done in some respects in a not so good way.
Indeed.
So the pushback has become confrontational, the pushback has become, and we want
Yes.
to say no. Be the queen you are. Push
That's
back
right.
in a way that says, this is who I am. I am the originator, the progenitor of the human race. And
Hey.
therefore, I own my
Yes.
identity, my intelligence,
Yes.
my
Yes.
regality, and
Yes.
my lineage as a
Yes.
Black young girl. And that is the essence of
Absolutely.
what we do.
Phase B. Phase B. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. Phase B. Oh yes. Oh yes. There's no pushback from me. That's for sure.
Um, and we need more like
Oh.
you. We need
Hey.
more men like you.
Oh, there are many out there. Don't you worry.
Yes.
There are many out there. And in that vein, if I may, and you narrated with such energy, with such power, that I know that the audience is understanding the higher messages that you wish to communicate. Okay, and it's interesting as I observe your work across the world, both in Ghana and across the world. Okay, um, I've got to ask you this question.
Hmm.
Assuming you had control of gender equality policy, okay, describe maybe, if I may, three policies every country in the world should implement. Hmm.
Hmm. Three
Hmm.
policies. First of all,
Please. Yeah.
um, I would. I mean, every country in the world, education must be. And when I say education, I'm not necessarily talking about Western style education.
Okay.
I think identity and cultural education must be compulsory. And I'm going to say, I'm not talking about nationalistic
Mm-hmm.
cultural education, which sometimes veers into the negative, but an
Yes.
understanding of our cultural identity and how it relates to the rest of the world. So, not insular cultural identity, education.
Yes.
Education.
Yes. Hmm.
The second thing is, the second policy I would want to see, and if you're asking me specifically in favor of the female child,
Indeed. Indeed. Indeed.
I would make the female, I will remove the stigma attached to women's menstrual
Hmm. Hmm.
cycles, you know,
Yeah.
however you want to see it. There is a stigma attached to it, which means across much of the world, which means
Yeah.
when a female is in that position,
Hmm.
she's not able to do many things. I'll set a policy that will provide better help and structure. So once you
Hmm.
have that education, then
Yes.
this issue of not being able to attend school or
Hmm.
go to work or engage in family activities during the periods of confinement, as we call it in
Yes.
some cultures, will
Yes.
largely be toned down or at least removed. The only if you have the because the origin of why women couldn't go into certain familial structures during this period was purely for hygiene reasons. We did not have the structures in place at the time, and so you have to
Okay.
isolate yourself so you don't contaminate food, so on and so forth, with your
Hmm.
flow.
Yes.
Practical
Yes.
reasons, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And we,
Yes.
we we set up policies that say that women must be given the appropriate structures to be able to do so. I will also set up policies that will ensure that women have a seat at the table. And we're
Hmm.
not doing it simply as a tick box exercise. We have to have a woman, therefore, let's pull someone in who is palatable or someone who adheres to our way of thinking only,
Yes. Uh-huh.
but on merit.
Yes.
Groom women that are educated, all round education, who have the structures in place to be able to perform to the point that if when they're going through these periods, nobody even can tell because they have the structures, and then place them at the seat of the table. Now, I'll add a fourth. I know you only asked me for three.
Hmm. Okay. Go
I
ahead.
would put a policy in place that will make men um, more engaged in the act of raising children. I said
Mm.
earlier, men were the
Agreed.
disciplinarians, but men also traditionally have been the breadwinners. And therefore, they go out. When your dad comes
Yeah.
home, you will see what he'll do. So, the
Yes.
absenteeism during
Hmm.
a certain period of the dad, because he's out there earning a living for the family.
For the family.
And when he
Yes.
comes home, all the child sees is the person who's told he or she has misbehaved, go and discipline. Creates
Uh-huh.
the impression that daddy, I mean, that's changing, I have to say. Daddy is the
Yes.
person who wields the cane all the time. And there's a disengagement from and a connection with the family beyond that, providing money and also disciplining. We want a policy that would allow men to be more engaged in the raising of the children. So this other side, the loving side of fathers can be seen. Creates a society where men don't feel they have to be a certain thing, and
Hmm.
therefore
Yes. Yes.
that
Yes.
creates knock-on effects for children across the world. So for me, these
Okay.
are some of the things that I would advocate
Well,
for.
they appeared at first glance to be common sense policies. There's common sense policies, and the last one I can definitely close affinity with. Absolutely, fathers should be actively involved. We should sacrifice time to be with our children.
Yeah.
Working for money, working for provisions is all well and good, but the greatest provision a father can provide to their children is their presence and active participation, guiding that child on moral and social matters and intimate matters. It is a vital role that we play, and it is often understated. And I want to thank you, Your Majesty, for including that additional policy, the fourth policy. But can I just probe you a little bit on the original policies that you
Mm.
highlighted, which are interesting ones? As I said, they seem to be common sense policies. If am I allowed to refer to Ghana, would you prefer me not to refer to Ghana? But it does appear that Ghana has those policies in place, or not. Mm.
Um, I have to admit that as a nation, Ghana is doing marginally better than some other countries that I've been in and witnessed. Um, Ghana is doing well. We still have a long way to go because in a
Yes.
system where we have always been patriarchal, it
Yes.
wouldn't be an overnight change of mindset. However, most Ghanaian men that I know are very much in these days. In the olden days, we
Yes.
all grew up with fathers who we knew were there, we
Yes.
knew loved
Yes.
us, but we saw them as the oh he's coming. Everyone has to stand to attention. They were the disciplinarian,
Yes.
and I think that
Yes.
does an injustice to men.
Yes.
I'm
Agreed.
seeing
Agreed.
I'm seeing a shift, and for the if we're talking about the girl child, for instance, the reflection of the man you get attracted to is sometimes subconsciously your the male figure that you grow up with. So
Yes.
the kind of example that a man sets in terms of a girl who grows up with a disciplinarian for a father and someone who only ever goes out and comes in the evening will expect the same of the man that they marry, and then they will suffer
Yes.
because there'll be a disengagement beyond the wooing stage where men
Yes.
can say anything because they want to they want to as I always put it, catch the prey.
Indeed.
Beyond
Indeed.
that, the females begin to suffer because what they have attracted is someone who's largely absent because they're so focused on earning, they're so focused on being the disciplinarian, and then it creates conflict in the home. But if we
Yes.
raise men who are have a little bit more empathetic without
Yes.
losing their masculinity, then women will attract because that would be the example that they grew up with, and we would have a more balanced relationship structure within our homes, and children born out of those relationships will grow into generations that are used to it. So Ghana is doing well. Ghana is doing well. I'm seeing a shift, but we still have a long way to go because I still have to contend as a female traditional ruler. I still have to contend with a certain male mindset,
Yes.
if I'm
I
honest.
understand.
That's
I understand.
that
Yeah, I
that's
understand. I do
sometimes
understand.
is difficult. Yes.
It's interesting. Uh, Maybe another time we might have a further discussion on this. But
Yes.
I'm mindful of your work, and this is interesting. As I said, it's part of my preparation for this interview. You, of course, have many hats. Being being a member of the African aristocracy, being a member of the royalty, you have many hats, of course. And I'm interested in one of those hats, and that, and if you wouldn't mind, for the benefit of the Motivator Show's audience, can you share your achievements as matron of the Global Visionary Women's Network with the audience here? Because this is you applying those policies, I imagine. Tell us what have been your achievement over the past 12 months or so that you'd like to share with us.
So I
Mhm.
need to set a context for the
Okay.
Global
Okay.
Visionary Women's Network, and at this point, I want to say a big hello to Dr. Sylvia Forsha, who
Yes,
is the
indeed.
founder,
Yes.
founder of the GVWN. Now, as far as my role, I am the global matron of the Global Visionary Women Network. And what that means is it encompasses much of what I do in any case. So
Yes.
the organization itself is very much concerned with women's empowerment, as we've come to call it, educating across the board in leadership, in health, female
Yes.
health, education. I've mentioned that earlier. So running things like ESOL classes, you know,
Yes.
for people
For,
whose first
oh, that's right. Yeah, to explain what that means. ESO, I know what it means, but to explain what it means.
education for speakers of other languages.
Yes.
ESOL classes are for people whose first language is not English. for
Yeah.
instance.
Hmm.
So it's very a broad base of and bringing women together annually or twice a year in some cases, to be very powerful women together, to be
Yes.
able to discuss how we can further the work of not only the organization but advocate for the rights of the female child and the
Absolutely.
health of the female child. So in a broad sense, that's what I do.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
the global matron, and that means I'm the royal, the visible royal face also of the
Hmm.
organization, something that I
Yes.
relish and I take
Yes.
very seriously. And so that
Hmm.
is in a nutshell what we do as
Hmm.
far as the Global Visionary Women's Network is
Are,
concerned.
are you able to point to particular initiative projects in Britain that we might be familiar with? Any
If I
projects?
would say, if you go onto
Mm.
the GVWN website,
Okay.
you'll see plenty. I've mentioned some
Yes.
ESOL
Mm.
classes. There are regular classes going on in terms of, health initiatives,
Yes. Yes.
even CV library employment initiatives,
Yes.
how people
Yes.
can attain employment, helping with literacy so that they can go into the work environment for women who struggle. It's a broad base, but a lot
It
of that
is.
information is on the website.
What I will do for the benefit of the audience, this interview will be re-edited, and on the screen will be the website address for the
Yes.
GVWN,
Yeah.
so that you have it. And I'll also point listeners and viewers to specific pages for different countries. And the range
Yeah.
of initiatives are very wide and
They are.
truly inspirational. And yes, I agree with you. It's the implementation, one of your means to
Absolutely.
implement what you believe in.
And I will say
Love,
very quickly
of
that the
course.
organization has encouraged young
Yes.
kids within the organization, and they're all authors with books that
Yes,
are
I've
on
noticed.
Amazon and selling very well. And
Yes.
this is part of giving not only female children but young people a voice, and
Yes.
through
Yes.
writing, both therapeutic, but also to be young authors at a very young age, and have their voices heard globally in different ways.
Beautifully said. And I just would repeat the name. I want to use the acronym. So it's the Global Visionary Women's Network. Okay.
Network, that's correct.
Truly, truly a powerful organization. And
It
I
is.
studied it. Wow. I need to get her here as well on another occasion. It's really impressive work. But it is well. It is well. But of course, Your Highness, what you've been able to do is to galvanize people's attention today. Okay. And what you've been able to do is to not only galvanize their attention, providing good quality information, that they were inspired into action. But my question to you, how can women and girls support you to achieve the changes that will create holistic, wholesome societies? How can they help you to do so?
How can women be inspired
Mm.
to create the changes that would create
Yes.
holistic
Mm.
in inspiring women and children? I said
Mm.
earlier, let's create the kind of structures. First is a recognition of
Yes.
the power of the female child. That's
Absolutely.
number one.
Absolutely. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I think when we recognize that women have something to bring to the table beyond the obvious,
Indeed.
it's a good starting point. And on the women's side, I would say I always caveat this: advocating for women's rights does not have to be combative, except where someone tells you to go away. They don't want to
Mm.
hear your voice for no reason whatsoever,
Mm. Mhm.
than being male and entitled in some respects.
Mhm.
But recognize the power that women have.
Right.
Recognize the skills, the talents that lay beyond merely being a woman. Now, I love to cook. I
Mhm.
love to cook.
Okay.
I believe cooking is a skill that brings people together. Food itself is a conversation
Absolutely.
piece. But
Yes.
it does not mean that the role of the woman is confined to cooking.
Indeed.
We can
Yeah.
there's nothing more romantic for me than being able to stand in a kitchen next to a partner who is chopping something up while I'm preparing something. Do you understand?
I
It
hear you.
has to be a conversation. So women's position are not no longer to be confined to you must be in the kitchen. And I mentioned nurturing. Sometimes when we
Hmm.
say nurturing the children, yes, of course, when you've born a human being in this
Yes.
body and you brought it out, the first food that that human being usually takes
That's
is
right.
from your body. You
Yes.
literally give humans life, because if that child is not fed, chances are it will die. The first
That's
ever
right.
meal the child takes is from your body. So when they say breast milk
Yes.
is important, it's not just for
Yes.
scientific reasons, it's a life-giving force.
Absolutely.
So you
Absolutely.
must, as a woman, be the one that feeds the nation, feeds the family, etc.
Indeed.
That must never translate to being the woman is supposed to always be in the kitchen and nothing else. Okay,
Hmm.
we need to
Hmm.
set the context within that. Women
Hmm.
have multiple talents. Now,
Hmm.
I, aside from everything I do, I run an organization called 10 Talents Global. And why 10
Okay.
Talents? Yes,
Hmm.
I do. And you people will hear of it a lot more. I do a lot of my skills based training based on 10 Talents Network. But why 10 talents? I believe every individual possesses at least 10 talents. And let me demonstrate. If I
Okay.
ask you, if I start playing music, uh, Dr. Martin, and I say, a music that you like, be it
Hmm.
reggae, be it Afrobeat, whatever, chances are you're
Hmm.
going to stand and start dancing. That is a talent.
Yes. Yes.
You as a you as a presenter have a unique talent in asking specific questions that tease out
Hmm.
the answers that society needs. That is a
Yes.
talent. You may be able to go into the kitchen and throw some really, you may be known for a particular dish. That
I
is a
love
talent.
cooking. I love cooking.
Indeed, that
Just for
is
the
a
record.
talent. And I could go on and on and on. And you may be able to carry a tune. That is a
Hmm.
talent. Now,
Indeed.
I can sit here. I had to sit down and assess myself
Hmm.
and say, what skills and talents do I possess? And I could name at least 10.
Yes.
I don't want to go into all of them now, but most people who engage with me will be able to tell you. And these are not just skills that I possess, these are talents. So the 10
Yes.
talents, and it also has a little bit of I like the scriptural story of the parable of the talents, the idea that the little you've been given, you must expand. If you're given, uh, I want to give you a visual example. If you're
Hmm.
given £5 in a group of very hungry people,
Mm.
and you are asked to either spend that £5 on food for yourself,
Hmm.
or multiply that £5 into 10, 20, and 100 and thousands and so on. The mindset, the starting point would be, what can I buy with £5? How can I
Yes.
make the thing I buy enough to be able to supply to 10 people to begin with, who will be sated enough that they won't die? And how can I
Hmm.
use those profits to buy more and supply to more?
Yes.
The parable of the
Yes.
talents. In the same
Yes.
way, whatever you are given, be it in terms of royalty, in terms of
Yes.
your role at work, you must
Yes.
be able to expand it beyond what you're
Absolutely.
given. And that is where the 10 talents come in. And so I want us all to engage with that. We need to understand that we don't have to be limited. They say there's nothing great about shrinking, so others won't feel comfort will feel comfortable around you. You
That's right.
need to
Right.
realize that the talent you've been given must be expanded no matter what it is. And I'm not talking about bad talent. I'm not encouraging women to go out there and take off their clothes and shake
No.
something
No.
online for the benefit of people. But I'm saying,
No.
if you can shake something, do it in a way that's culturally appropriate, and that teaches somebody something. As we say in my
Yeah.
culture, cha umanyaba.
And that means, say you got to
Cha
translate it for us.
umanyaba, cha,
Ah,
means I am,
ah,
it's an affirmation, cha.
ah,
Umanye
affirmation.
aba,
Okay.
yeah, umanye
Um, um,
encompasses goodwill, everything
man,
good.
yeah. Oh
So
man, yeah. Okay.
umanye
Yeah.
aba,
Oh
cha,
man, yeah.
umanye. I'm affirming goodwill for all of us.
Thank you so much. Wow. I could take nothing away from you. But as a quick follow up to this, um, in my public life, I was very much involved in the education sector,
Mm,
particularly in pre-primary and secondary sector, which is up to say 18. We tend to be dominated by women. Dominated by women. Okay.
yes.
And a question's been asked in the chat, I can see, and I've received other messages. What work do you do with boys? Because clearly,
Ah,
are you solely? Please, yes, okay.
right. The work with boys is very unique, and I will
Mm-hmm.
caveat it by giving an example of what is happening now. One of the things we've because I have a son and I have a
Mm-hmm.
daughter. One of the things we've realized is this idea of mental health in men being overlooked.
Yeah, yeah.
I said earlier that the male is expected to go out there and be the breadwinner and be this
Mm-hmm.
uh, idea of masculinity that can
Mm-hmm.
sometimes be toxic, and the disciplinarian. That translates to disciplinarian in sometimes very negative ways. The work with boys is if you teach a young man first to respect himself, to understand
Yes,
what it means to be the authority figure, to
yes.
teach a young man to have a level of empathy when they engage with
Indeed,
their offspring and
that's
there's
right.
and also their siblings from the beginning. You grow men who become so rounded in
That's right.
maturity, but
That's
also
right.
in the sense of who they are. Now, some of these mental health issues we're witnessing, the males should not cry, men don't cry. The internalization of conflict within them
Mm.
that I either manifest as violence or,
Yes,
in the extreme cases, men taking their lives.
yes.
So
That's
we're
right.
working with in working with young boys. It's not always easy. It's very, very difficult, I have to say. That
Mm-hmm.
society is taking the young black male. And I'll give you another visual before I even land my point. I want to give you
Mm-hmm.
another visual example.
Mm-hmm.
Look at something like uh, knife crime on our streets.
Yes.
Whenever
Very serious
I
matter.
hear Yes, whenever I hear of an example of it, another example of it, it breaks my heart. You know why? Because I always say, I mean, the entire thing doesn't make sense when you think of it
No.
in terms of postcode wars, etc. It really doesn't make sense. But society has created a structure
Yeah.
that is causing the the life giver, the sperm giver, the gender that provides the thing that creates a human within the female's womb.
Yes.
Society has created a war that should be non-existent to the point
Indeed.
that they're taking each other out so society doesn't take responsibility. That is
Mm-hmm.
what we're having to contend with. Young
Mm-hmm.
boys have been indoctrinated to hate each other on sight. Why?
Mm.
Because if you want to control a population
Yes.
and you have succeeded as a society in teaching them to hate each other
Mm-hmm.
and cancel each other out, that
Indeed.
is three-quarters of your work done. And so
Indeed.
when the males are taking each other out, what they're
Yes.
doing is reducing the instances of the people who will be able to provide the seed with
Mm-hmm.
which the next generation will be born.
That's
Do you
right.
get where I'm going with this?
Oh yes. Oh yes. We're there with
Population
you. Yes.
control
Yes.
structure. So we must catch our children from a young age teach them discipline, not in so much of an aggressive way as we've
No.
known, but in a way that resonates and understand the world has changed. But discipline must not, loving your child must not be the absence of discipline in the home. Because we found that where we've gone, either parents have been absent because they are so caught up in earning a living to feed family due to poverty, or this idea of soft parenting
Mm-hmm.
has given society an opportunity. When I say society, I mean the wider society,
I
an
understand.
opportunity to
Yes.
put a hand on our boys and
Yes.
cause them
Yes.
to, in some cases, to begin to cancel each other out.
Yes.
And we want more examples of our boys who we see doing excellent work, excelling in different fields, in business, in science, in social circles, etc., etc.,
Yes.
and in
Yes.
traditional rulership. We want to see kings who are examples, who set good examples for our young
Yes.
boys.
Yes.
So for the parents out there, my work with boys is primarily to allow them to own themselves, to
Absolutely.
take ownership of who they are, to understand that they
Yes.
represent something beyond themselves, and to tell
Absolutely.
them that the idea that you have to go out there with your, I tell them the origins of some of the culture we see. You see a
Mm-hmm.
boy walking around with their trousers hanging around their knees.
Mm.
There is an
Mm.
origin to it. I tell them
Mm-hmm.
where it comes from, and I tell them
Yes.
it doesn't. You don't belong to it, so
Yes.
don't engage with it. Um, we want to do more when it comes to the male child, but I
Mm-hmm.
think we need the help of the males, which is why
Yes.
I said
Yes.
earlier, when you have a household where the male figure is made comfortable with the idea that being part of the family structure
Mm-hmm.
is okay. And
Yes.
when men stop telling other men that when they show a little bit of empathy, it means they're weak,
Mm-hmm.
we will have a society where some of these young boys are more comfortable because they're lost as to what
Yes.
they should be. They'll be more comfortable with being a man, an
Mm-hmm.
empathetic man, but a masculine one. And then society
Yes.
will not sell them something we all don't want to see, which is the negative. And society will
Absolutely.
not effeminize them and
Indeed.
make them think it is okay, it's normal. So for me, that's the very hard work we're doing. We used to run a project called It's About Time, project about knife and gun violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want to resurrect that project.
Good.
I've had the opportunity to speak to people like Gwenton Slowly, who, as
Oh
you know,
yes.
has been very
Yes.
involved in the field and learnt a lot from him. We want to
Mm-hmm.
continue the work.
I'm really pleased that I put that question in. I was really going to focus solely on women and girls, but I'm aware of your impressive work working with boys and young men. Impressive work, absolutely impressive. Arguably more impressive than, forgive me, women and girls, because your
Yes.
impact has been profound. And I'm aware of a number of young men who've had contact with you. You don't know this, who've had contact with you and given first-hand testimony. You know my position in society to me, which is why I always ensure that you're here on the Motivator Show. For you don't simply say these words, you do it. Yep. And the whole purpose of the Motivator Show is to translate words into action. So
Yes.
ultimately, success is ours for the taking. Yep. It's very much a
Indeed.
mindset. It's a way of life. So it is
Indeed.
profound, and there's much more you could say on this subject in your passion, the manner in which it's projected through. Oh yeah, it is. The chat has gone quiet now because they paused to listen to you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, a part of this, if I may just take us
Yes.
forward, is of course that there are many who want to reach out to you. Okay, okay. Now, are you able to share maybe an email or social media account so that my audience can contact you? How can they contact you, please?
Before I do that, I just want to say one
Okay,
thing quickly that I forgot.
of course.
Um,
Okay.
to those in our entertainment space, I'd like to beg of them. One of my
Mm,
favorite songs right now is Sandiata, and
mhm.
is by Fuse ODG. Sundiata. I want every
Okay,
male
Sandiata.
and female to go and listen to it, but mostly the
Hmm.
boys, and watch the what he's doing with the video and the culture. For those in our entertainment space, you
Mm,
can do enjoyable entertainment. I know what some of the young people, the drills and whatever, but you can do it the same way with positive messages.
messages.
It doesn't
Yes,
have always to be propagating negative language that
indeed.
incites a certain kind of action because somebody who is financing you is asking you to do it. You're being
That's
used
right.
as a
That's
puppet.
right. That's right.
Please use entertainment wisely to promote positive things for males, especially. Now, coming back to my,
Thank you
I
so
have
much. Mm, mhm,
official Facebook pages,
mhm,
which if you type in Nacho Soyoo the first,
mhm.
you'd have access to my official sites, which is
Good. Okay.
across X, Facebook, Insta, the usual.
Instagram, and TikTok. I know I had to get used to
Yes,
myself.
and you'll be able to reach out to me actually
Good.
if
Okay.
you want to get in touch.
And
And if you
thank you.
don't
And
contact Dr. Motivator, because he has
mm,
got my contact, my personal
most
contacts.
most certainly, again, this interview will be re-edited, and your social media contact will be on the screen for those in the
Absolutely.
re-edited version of this one. But thank you. It's very clear. Very clear. I'm conscious that you are a busy person, and we've taken you slightly over the anticipated time. But can I invite you? What is your closing message for the people? Mhm.
My closing message for people is I love, I love
Mm,
very much that we are re engaging with our heritage. I
good.
love
Yes.
that young people are celebrating your hair, the beauty of
Hmm.
your skin, the beauty of
Yes.
your body. I
Yes.
love that we go to carnival and we celebrate who we are. I
Hmm.
love that we come to Homowo and you see the authenticity of Ghanaian culture. Or you go to
Yes.
Akweside and you see the authenticity
Yes.
of Ghanaian culture. I would like to
Yes.
put it out there to everyone
Hmm.
that on the 6th of October, October being Black History Month, 2026, that's next year, not this year, we
Okay.
will be celebrating something very unique. The Grand Homowa UK Festival will be happening, and I hope to be back here talking about that a bit more.
Hmm.
And it will be bringing
Welcome.
up across royals from across the African continent. But not just that, we will be celebrating a very unique event, which was the Battle of Katamanso that happened in Ghana a long time ago. Now we say battle, but these days we are not using it in terms of war. We're using it in terms of re-engagement, learning, and brotherhood and unity. So we'll be
Yes.
commemorating it, but not in the sense of celebrating a war between brothers. No, we'll be
Hmm.
using it as a tool for unity and bringing our society together. So mark it in your diaries, the 3rd of October 2026. Come and join us. Let's keep celebrating our culture and owning who we are. Let
Absolutely.
nobody convince us that we're less than. Let's
Mm.
be in society's face. Wear your clothing, wear your culture
Yes.
with pride, eat your food
Yes.
with pride, and
Yes.
educate other people about the merits of our culture. Again, Chano Manyaba, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, please, please, please. Let me clap you. Yes. 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 Oh, yes. 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 Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, Your Majesty. Oh my gosh. I feel you. We feel you. We feel you. The courage, the integrity, authenticity that you project, humility and wisdom that you share with us today. We appreciate you. Please leave us with the love of the entire peoples. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. Thank you.
Oh,
And a
oh wow.
wonderful day to everyone. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you.
Bye.
Wow. A magnificent human being. Outstanding human being. I told you she was, didn't I? Did I not say that? An example of the many members of royal families across the continent of Africa. Mhm. People of the highest integrity. Mhm. And what she demonstrated, using her position, she can influence in a positive, powerful way and transform lives just by her very presence, if not by her words. And it is that we need to capture. Mhm. Whole point of the Motivator Show is to provide good quality information, inspiring information that motivates you to take action. Yeah, translate words into action. Because ultimately, success is yours, is ours for the taking. That is what motivates us here. That's why this is the Motivator Show. Okay. This live transmission will be re-edited, as I said, okay, into a series of shows, okay, and we'll attach even more information to each of the podcast episodes, okay, just so that you can use it as a reference point, just like a book. This is an audio visual book, one that you use as a reference point for yourself, for your loved ones, your wider networks and wider communities. And together we will transform the world. You don't need to be African, if I may say so respectfully, to take on board the wisdom that you've heard today from this remarkable human being. You just need to be a human being, a compassionate human being, a respectful human being. That's all. That's all. And together we will transform the world. And no longer would a human being need to starve of lack of food, or die of thirst, lack of water, or humble themselves because they don't have a shelter. Mhm. We'll ensure that happens. We ensure that every woman and girl has access to sanitary needs as required for no cost. It should be a human right, an absolute human right. We have no need, therefore, for wars and tensions of that type. Okay? No need for it. We can elevate ourselves above it. It is really very much a consciousness. It is very much a consciousness. And the whole point of these shows is to raise that consciousness among all human beings. Because together we will transform the world. I know for some to hear those statements, it sounds very audacious and so on. Be audacious. Be audacious. Yeah, truly ambitious. Yeah. And in doing so, you've stretched yourself and you realize the potential. You heard what she said? We all have at least 10 talents. At least 10 talents, you know? I argue we've got at least 20 talents. Yeah. The first 10 are easily realizable. The following 10 are those which are just below the surface. You've yet to develop. You've yet to evolve. So you could use it to best effect for yourself, your loved ones, and your wider communities. It is up to you. It's up to you. A remarkable human being. We'll get her back again, most certainly, maybe before 2026, because clearly her many hats, her many societal impact need to be recorded, need to be noted and recognized by us all. And as she knows it, well, I want you all to recognize it. Remarkable human being. But I want you, please, before you go, and if you haven't done so, you haven't subscribed, okay, please subscribe to our channel. Send to your friends and families a link to these shows, to this channel, okay? We should encourage you to do so. Don't leave without leaving a comment, or at the very least, giving us a thumbs up, because that will tell the YouTube algorithm that the information being provided, it's good information, wholesome information, and useful to humanity. It's most certainly useful to the billion or so YouTube users. Yeah, that will help us to spread the word, and together we can transform the world. I know I keep saying it, but it's true. It is true. I'm elated, huh? It is true. It is very much a mindset. Success is ours for the taking. It's very much a mindset. I want to give two quick announcements before we leave. Okay, I mentioned earlier on our visit to Burkina Faso, and those of you who wish to join us, please, I need you to express your interest. I'll put it on the details on the screen for you, just so it's no misunderstanding. There we go, and the other one, there we go. Yeah, we go. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Take that off. Oh, take one off. There we go. You've got it there. So we're visiting Burkina Faso on the 26th of January, okay, to the 9th of February. Okay. They're rolling out the red carpet for us, okay? We're rolling out the red carpet for us. It'll be fantastic. The Motivator Show will be physically in Burkina Faso. I want to give again a thumbs up to Chief Abundance, who gave us a live show from Burkina Faso, okay? That's a place, that's where good governance is being exhibited, where it's been implemented on a daily basis, okay? And those countries, the Sahel, of course, Sahel, which of course include Mali and Niger. We need to get leaders for those communities here on the Motivator Show. And if you wish to accompany us, okay, the email address to send your expression of interest is the future is Burkina Faso at outlook.com. Okay, and we'll provide you with further details in terms of price and so on. But it will be truly an inspirational experience. And this is the motivator here, and you know, nothing less will do. Nothing less will do. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Careful preparation is underway to ensure that you all will benefit. And lastly, before I go for today, okay, I want you all to consider what you have learned today from this remarkable human being. Okay? It's not a question of her gender that matters here. She's simply a human being. And that potentiality exists within you. I want to keep quoting from King Kabbalah of the African Continental Unity Party, the Pan-Africanist Party of Africa, where he points out that there's a tendency, in particular among us Africans, to adopt this sort of messianic viewpoint of the world. In other words, we invest in a single person all of our hopes and aspirations. Okay, actually, you are the change makers. I say again, actually, you are the change makers. We together are the change makers. Yeah. That you have to believe. And if in doubt, I say again, hold the hand of someone you believe in, someone whose strength you admire. And I'm assuring you, you will feel that strength. You'll feel the abilities. You'll feel it. And that confidence as you are waning will be overcome. And together, we together will transform the world. Okay, it doesn't need to be a sort of capitalist backdrop. We are better than that. We don't aspire to have billions of pounds, billions of dollars. Okay, what we aspire to have is billions of appreciation for others. That's what we aspire. Yeah, there you go. That's what we really want. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I say this to you. Whilst each of these shows are curated in ways that are intended to stimulate, I couldn't do it, we couldn't do it without you. Impossible without you. Okay. So we want you to congratulate yourself, to thank yourself for what you have achieved. Because you are the inspiration that we rely upon to curate and deliver each of these podcasts to you. So I want to say to you, thank you from the top of our hearts. Thank you. So I say unto you, until the next time, I remain the motivator.